Possibly the greatest covers band in the world, the Australian rock collective will return for their annual tour, paying tribute to an iconic album. This year, they will present Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here across Australia, including a stop at Newcastle's Civic Theatre on the 14th of August. We caught up with the bass player of Jet and one part of the ARC, Mark Wilson, ahead of their highly anticipated run of shows. What's the experience like for you getting to play as part of the ARC? Because obviously it's some of the biggest names in Australian rock making up this supergroup. What's it been like to work with the other guys over the years?
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing it for 10 years now, and it started off as just a little one-off thing we did over in Brazil. We went to Brazil and played at the World Cup for the big Australian fan group that were over there following the Australian team around. We got asked to put a band, Darren got asked to put a band together, and we just thought it'd be a one-off thing. And we had so much fun doing it that we started playing we'd play like little festivals here and there. And then we just came up with the concept of doing an album every year. And I think this is our seventh year of doing it.
Yeah.
And it's become like a big part of our year of our touring. And it's something that it's normally a bit earlier in the year, but I have some Jet shows in Europe and the US. So instead of cancelling it for the year, we found another spot for that it works. It's hard to align everybody's schedules, but it happened that August this year worked out really well.
Yeah, beautiful. And how has it influenced you as a musician getting to jam out on these iconic albums?
Yeah, you know what? We always talk about it with each other, like how much like it helps you as a musician to really get forensic on someone else's playing style, someone else's music, and it gives you new ideas and fresh takes of how someone else might achieve something. And that part of it is really enjoyable because we get really deep. We do deep dives into the songs, and we get really, like I said, really forensic on how they set the actual sounds. We use the same instruments, we use the same amps when we can. And even our mixing desk that we take around with us now they're digital, but you can actually get digital versions of the same console that the albums were recorded on to try and create, and our crew all try and recreate everything as close as we can. It's difficult to get it exactly there, but we get real nerdy on it,
Yeah.
Whether anyone notices, I don't know, but
yeah. Oh no, totally. That's like even deeper than I thought that you guys got into it.
Oh no, we absolutely go to town. I mean, we're all big music nerds deep down, so this is our opportunity to show that part of our sort of musical sort of you don't really get nerdy with your own music, but with other people's music you've been listening to forever, and we get really deep in how they actually achieved it, and we sort of push really hard to make them sound as close to the albums as possible.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite moments on these two albums that you're most excited to bring to life?
On Wish You Were Here, there's the two Shine On You Crazy Diamond parts, which are very long and very they're quite difficult because they're quite long. There's a lot of different parts. They sort of segue between completely different feels, and that's going to be a nice challenge. There's a lot of sound to make in those. There's a lot of synth stuff, a lot of and very people know every single part as well. So you got to try really hard because everyone coming to the show, they've been listening to the album as well. They know it just as well as us. So we've got to deliver it. So they're not going, that's not how it goes.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is, but it's a lot of fun too. It's a good fun tour. It's like school. I always say it's like school camp going out with these guys because that we don't tour that much together. We do once a year, so it's really fun to come back together and it's like 3 weeks together and we have a ball, and then we generally think of what we're going to do next year on this tour.
Yeah. Okay.
So next year's concept we'll come up with while we're out on the road with this one.
Amazing. Do you have, I know that you're bringing Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here and Dark Side of the Moon to the Civic Theatre in August, but is there a dream album that you would love to recreate eventually?
Jeez, yeah. I'm not really. Like every year, someone different comes up with the idea, and we kind of kick it around. We're like, oh, that'd be hard. Like even doing Led Zeppelin last year, we thought, oh, that's going to be hard because of because of everybody in that band is an absolute virtuoso. But that was one that definitely made you better at playing your instrument. That's for sure. But every year, I'm like, oh, we're not going to top that, and we seem to do it every year. So.
When do you kick off rehearsals? Do you like do it all within that period?
Yeah, it's like I think we start rehearsals on the 3rd of August, and the tour starts on the 8th.
Wow.
So we'll only rehearse for 3 or 4 days, but everyone shows up. Like I'm already sort of working out all the songs because I'm busy with Jet, so I don't have a lot of time at home where I can just sit around and learn and get deep. So I prefer to I prefer to do it over a really long period, like just slowly ingest the music, listening to it, playing it. It really stuffs up your Spotify algorithm, every year. It's like whatever you've played, whatever ARC show that year is the thing that I listen to the most throughout the year. That and my kids, putting kids' music on my phone.
Of course, at the top of your Wrapped.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you remember back to when you first heard these albums and what kind of influence they had on you?
Oh, well, I mean, my stepfather used to wake the family up by putting the intro of Time on, which has got all the alarm clocks going off. He used to crank that on the on the record player, turn it up really loud, and we were like, wow, it was his funny joke. So, from an early age, I was, but they're pretty, I mean, these Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here, like Dark Side of the Moon especially, it's one of the biggest albums of all time, selling albums. So, I mean, you have to be living under a rock not to encounter it at some point in your life.
Well, look, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
My pleasure.
It's awesome to talk. And seriously, after experiencing that Led Zeppelin show, I cannot wait to see what you guys do with Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here.
There'll be a lot more lasers in this one.
Yeah, totally.
We're going to have a pretty good light show too.
Yeah, incredible. Is there anything else that you're doing stage-wise?
Yeah, I mean, you have to come and see.
Yeah, totally. Amazing. Okay, thank you so much.
Cool.
We'll see you in
Thank
August.
you.